Welcome to Lessons from Your Hairstylist. This podcast is for women who are not done becoming the best version of themselves. Here we have honest conversations about beauty, confidence, transformation, reinvention, aging, and learning how to feel like yourself again in midlife. I'm Sarah Cruz, and after decades behind the chair, I've heard it all. So have a seat and find out that whatever it is that you may be quietly dealing with behind closed doors is actually more normal than you may think. Sometimes a conversation with your hairstylist is just the thing you need. Welcome in. Well, hello and welcome to the Lessons from Your Hairstylist podcast. I'm your host and hairstylist friend, Sarah Cruz. How are you? It's so good to be back with you today. This is a Saturday morning early. We are about to head out in a little while, go over to the Williamson County Fair here in Franklin, Tennessee. My son is actually playing at the fair. For those of you who don't know, he's a bluegrass musician and he's playing over at the fair today. It's going to be probably 450 degrees outside, so not really sure if I'm looking forward to that part of it. It has been raining like crazy, just on and off here in Middle Tennessee. So it is like very humid. It is very sticky, but we're going over there today. So I'm up extra early this morning. The grandparents are coming, and I have not recorded this podcast in a couple of weeks. It looks like this podcast is kind of like ending up being like an every other week type of thing. I am really trying hard to get my arms around the podcast, the wedding business, all of the marketing, all of the things, and really like get into a groove. But it is really a hard task. Even if I do have two wonderful, amazing assistants that help me, people that I really lean on, just these two amazing women that I don't know what I would do without them. They basically run my hair and makeup business and they do the podcast editing, get it up and ready to go. And I am the bottleneck in the entire operation every single time. So today I wanted to go ahead and get the podcast done. I knew I wouldn't get it done the rest of the day, or the rest of the weekend. I knew I would not record it. And the thing is too, is I wanted to record this one really badly. I always want to record the podcast because I love doing it, but there's all the preparation that goes into it. And then actually sitting down and recording it. I got up this morning and I thought, I'll just kind of let myself just, be whatever. And then, but you see yourself on camera and you're like, oh no, we need to maybe do a little something. So tried to do a little something before I came on. Anyways, okay. So just to move on and give you all of that backstory, you didn't even need all of that, but I wanted to sit down and record this one today because I'm really excited about this. I came up with this idea and I think it's going to be really fun. So if you know me, I've been a hairstylist for the last 30 years. And over the years, I have seen thousands and thousands of people in my chair. And I think over time, you start to notice certain personality traits in people and certain patterns. And I notice things that sort of correlate to people's hair colors. Sometimes I notice certain traits and personality traits that tend to go along with certain hairstyles, hair colors, things like that. And I thought it would be a really fun episode to tell you what I feel like your hair says about you when you walk into a room. Now, first impressions, they say, is the thing that sets the stage for the way that people are going to think about you and the way that people relate to you, I guess. And so when you first show up and somebody first sees you, one of the first things they see is your hair. And I've always been about that. Of course, hair is my thing. And so I noticed certain things. And over 30 years, I do think I've gotten a pretty good bead. Now, I just want to preface this by saying that I am going to read a lot of what I've written here because I don't want to lose any of the detail. Like I said, as I was writing it, so much was coming to me and I don't want to just start rambling on and on. So if you're watching this on YouTube and I'm not looking at you the whole time, just know, yes, I am reading this, but I wrote this from my true experience of how I see these different hair colors. Now, of course, there's always exceptions. So again, I just want to keep putting that out there. If it's not you and it doesn't resonate, I totally understand. But I think there may be some things in this that you may see yourself. So I think you might find it interesting. I'm going to start with brunette. To me, if you're a brunette, you maintain a bit of that youth that many of us hope to keep. It's in a way that other hair colors just can't do. There's just something effortlessly beautiful and youthful about brunette hair. It doesn't feel like you're trying too hard. If you're a brunette, I feel like you were probably born with it. And there's not a blonde out there who hasn't tried it on in some capacity only to find they can't truly pull off brunette long term. We've all wanted it, but it just doesn't work. But some part of us will always look at a brunette and think, man, I would love for my hair to look like that. As a brunette, when you walk into a room, you portray confidence in a way that other hair colors don't quite capture. When I see you coming as a brunette, I think she's a natural beauty. I think this is somebody who's not trying too hard to stand out or play another part. And sometimes I think of you as like the fun friend. You're the one who's out here not trying to make a statement. You're not working too hard to get attention, but people are just drawn to you. And that's your superpower. You're not out here just screaming, look at me, but you are getting noticed. Brunette to me means that people are drawn to you. There's a warmth, but there's also a mystery. I think that brunette is a wild card, sometimes underestimated on the surface, but always with layers upon layers of depth that never lose the element of surprise. Long brunette hair to me feels like health and vitality and youthfulness. I know I keep saying that, but that's what I keep thinking of in my head when I think brunette hair, somebody with long brunette hair. It's just, you look, it's just there's a youth, and I don't care how old you are. Now, to me, short brunette hair can sometimes give a little bit more of like a seriousness vibe, but I think there's mystery under there. Sometimes you are somebody who is known for more of like a magnetic personality, and that short brunette hair is kind of like the supporting actor in your story. It's in the background. So to me, there's a mysteriousness going on, and it is probably the more mysterious of the brunette category because there's always that depth and that element of surprise that keeps other people interested and engaged. A lot of times people don't know all the cards you hold in your hand. So I actually think of you kind of like sitting at the table, like holding a hand of cards, and nobody knows what's in there. So you probably do have like some standard 4s or some 10s, but I think you also probably have a queen, definitely have an ace up your sleeve. And I am willing to bet you even have a joker in there somewhere. So that is my take on brunettes. Do with it what you will, but that is what came up for me when I started writing that. Okay, next we are going to do redheads. So when I talk about redheads here, we're talking about red that is in like the natural category of reds, not something that is like a rainbow color, like a fuchsia or some sort of red that you wouldn't see in nature. So I'm talking about that type of red. Somebody who could have been born with it. So if you are a redhead, you're making a statement the moment you walk in the room. You are immediately turning heads. People notice you faster than any other member of your non-redhead friends. People don't know who they're going to get, but they can't stop looking with admiration and wonder. You have a striking trademark that makes you unforgettable. Line up 10 people in a room and you'll be remembered first. And with that, I feel like you probably have the character and the personality to support the attention. As a redhead, I feel like I've noticed you are deeply passionate. And many times you're very analytical. Stereotypically, you're always given that spicy label, but that's only a tiny piece of the puzzle. I feel like your spicy label is many times an extension of a strong conviction and a value system that tends to want to protect boundaries. So this is especially when it comes to personal boundaries, whether it's yours or someone else's. You are not black and white, but you're not always gray either. However, whichever way you lean on any given subject, you're going to be able to defend it better than anyone else ever could. That's what I've noticed about you. People approach you and tell you that they love your hair probably all the time. And sometimes you welcome it, and sometimes it can be irritating because there's more to you than your hair. If you wear your red hair long, it's probably maybe in a ponytail or a messy bun, say like 50% of the time. But that's because you're busy. You have a full active life. So whether you have it braided or it's like twisted up and just up on top of your head, it really can't ever look bad. And honestly, you can't hide that. Now, if your hair is short and red, this is interesting. This is something I've also noticed. You might be an undercover red. And what I mean by that is you may have chosen the red life. The red life may not have chosen you. So maybe you weren't born a redhead, but if your hair is short and you've chosen to go that red route, it's just a hunch, but I feel like you are a chameleon. There's an unlimited number of things to discover about you, and you can thrive in any company. And that is your superpower as a redhead. Okay, next we're going on to gray. And this is probably my favorite category to talk about right now. Gray is the moment. Not only is gray the moment, but I believe and I predict that gray is the future in so many ways. If you're gray, you've stopped putting yourself in a box, period. You send the message of unapologetic beauty. Let me elaborate. Unapologetic beauty to me means being comfortable in your own skin. It means not believing or wanting to cover up that which lies beneath. You're you, and you're in good company with multiple generations of beautiful, sexy, confident, and extraordinary women who turn heads in every decade of their lives. Gray is no longer simply accepted as an indicator of physical age. It is so much more. And if you've gone gray, it means you've made a decision to control your own narrative. And when you walk into a room, that is undeniable. Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and choosing to embrace it, or you're in your 50s and 60s and you're thriving in your new gray chapter, or you're even into your 90s, pioneering a new standard of beauty and showing every other generation how to truly live beautifully, by living by example, you are the creator of your own experience and destiny. If you walk into a room and your hair is long, you're giving free spirit. You're giving nature an organic expression, which captures an essence that eludes so many of us, especially in this time period. Whether it's long braid or a top knot, or simply just a gorgeous mane of healthy locks reaching your shoulders and beyond, you have a certain something that so many people wish that they could capture for themselves, but they can't always grasp it. If you have shorter gray hair, there's a sweetness about you. Maybe not always seen visibly just by looking, but you don't show all your cards either. You never have. You can be beautiful on the outside, but getting to the inside is only earned by those closest to you. When I see a gray-haired woman, I'm inspired and intrigued. You've got stories to be told, and there's something about you that says you've learned to cut through all the bullshit in life in the most authentic way. You have a quality that eludes so many people, and that is what's magnetizing about you. Next up, we're going blonde. Blonde is a whole personality, and everybody knows it. Blonde is the genie in the bottle of hair colors, meaning once the genie is out of the bottle, the color bottle, that is, you can't quite ever put her back. Blonde is almost like a drug. A little bit is fun at first, and then it seems like you can't get enough, and it takes more and more and more to get the same high. If you know, you know. Girl, and this is how some of us get to platinum. Blonde just does something to your brain chemistry. I just know it. So there are basically 3 categories of blonde. Number 1 is the natural blonde. So the natural blonde, she was born this way. We all hate her. I'm just kidding. But the natural blonde doesn't have to work for it until she gets probably into her late 20s, maybe early 30s. And even then, just a few highlights to brighten will do the job nicely. She's different from the other blondes. She would have just as easily thrived as a brunette if she'd been born that way. A few caramel highlights maybe, and she'd be good. When she walks into a room, she has an effortless, natural glow. She's put together. She's not overdone. Her personality can give athletic or girl next door on the surface, but rest assured, there is a plot twist that you're never going to see coming, especially behind the scenes. Next, we have your classic blonde. And this is probably where I fall in. I wasn't born a blonde, but I am a lifetime blonde. So the classic blonde basically always runs the risk of being a basic bitch, your girl included. However, we are anything but. It's just that women in this category, we're all out here fighting for our lives, trying to embody that bright, shiny thing that makes us who we know we were meant to be. We are on a mission. And that mission usually has something to do with feeling respected and seen for our skills and special qualities while looking as good as we can while doing it. We sometimes deal with trying to reconcile wanting to be noticed for our beauty while still being bothered by the fact at the same time when that's all we're seen for. Our mission runs deep, though. We can outwork almost anyone to protect or reveal meaningful objectives. And one thing is for sure. When it's all said and done, we'll never be anything but blonde. Now, the third type of blonde we're going to talk about is platinum. If you didn't know her, you might think she was a redhead. There's some very similar qualities. Platinum is its own category. It's its own animal. Much like black hair belongs separate from brunette, platinum plays by a whole different set of rules. Platinum is all in. Platinum is go big or go home. There is no messing around. Platinum is a daredevil in the sense that they play in the deepest end of the pool with no lifeguard. The women who I know that have platinum hair may have the same insecurities that the rest of us have, but unless you're in their inner circle of trusted people, you're probably never going to see them. You can bet that when they're in a room, people notice and they comment. However, just like how people comment on the redhead, with the platinum, they may get a little less irritated by this less often. And this is because actually behind their color choice, drawing attention was always at least some small part of the plan. Platinum also has a mission, just like the regular blonde. But what I find is that they might get to their results a lot faster in a more direct way than the classic blonde. And I find that they overthink things on average less than almost any other hair color category. With blondes, if your hair's on the shorter side, you may have a more conservative approach in your day-to-day life, but I do find that the overall similarities relative to your length are very much the same across all categories of blonde, meaning you're still there to pop, but you also mean business. If your hair is on the longer side, you're there to put across your femininity and unique beauty aesthetic while still doing what you came to do. Now, we're on to black hair. We're talking onyx, blue black. So if you came into the world with your hair color, go ahead and head on down the hall to the brunettes category and find your people, because we're talking about hair that does not happen in nature. It's that black. If you have true black hair, you made a choice, because no human genetic code produces blue pigment. Your hair may look black indoors, but if you didn't specifically color it black, you are considered deep brunette. I am sorry, I don't make the rules. So go ahead, head on down to the brunettes. We'll wait, because this is not your group. Are they gone? Okay, now for my little black angels. Girl, who hurt you? I'm just kidding. No, I love my black-haired beauties. Behind that black wall lies a truly sensitive soul. Some of the kindest, warmest, most tender and giving people I have ever known can carry off this color stunningly. Now, though I was sort of making a little joke when I said, girl, who hurt you? There is a little bit of truth in there, so let's get into it. I'm not saying that everyone who makes the choice to wear black hair has any more emotional issues than the rest of us, but I do notice that those of you who choose this color have chosen it as an intentional expression of strength for your own unique reasons. And there's a lot of power in truly owning the way you choose to show up and make an unmistakable outward statement with your look and your style. There are few things that are more gorgeous than an ink black mane. That punch is a showstopper. When you walk into a room, others immediately are curious about you. They want to know your story. Something in your look makes us all look inward to find our own inner edge. We're fascinated by what might make you so cool and so fierce. You are Platinum's alter ego. It's not bad versus good. It's depth versus surface. Both go all the way. Two extremes. No in between, but there's a different message. Platinum gets noticed for what shows up shining immediately, right on the outside. Black gets noticed for something very different. It's the mystery of the unknown. What's going on beneath the surface? The darkest brunette alone does not evoke that, which is why it was necessary to go to the extreme of black, black, black to make the impression stick. Black hair is exotic. It makes someone feel something, like an urge to approach you to find out more, knowing you might get burned by the fire. If you have black hair, you are among the most complex of all the hair color personalities. You're artistic and creative, but your hair color choice is just one single magical effect, the perfect stark backdrop for all your other infinitely interesting qualities. Pure black. And finally, we're going to cover kaleidoscope. What is kaleidoscope? Basically, kaleidoscope is everything else, and it's all in the category of things that never happen in nature. So we're talking about your rainbows of colors, your gem tones, your pastels, things like that. This is the final category, and it can only be described as kaleidoscope because it encompasses basically everything else. So we've covered the basics already. But girl, if you find yourself in this category, we all agree there is nothing basic about you. First off, you got in trouble for talking too much in school, didn't you? Just admit it. Your grades may have sucked, but funny how you've crafted a way in the world to work for who you are as an individual. You've never been one to agree that the accepted way is the best way. You are never black and white unless it comes to what's right. You're empathetic and nuanced in your thinking. You never just blindly accept the world's story or society's view. You see shades of gray and you consider many angles. In fact, I find that you consider so many angles, you are slightly more prone to decision fatigue than anybody else. This is especially true when it comes to your hair color. I mean, forget shades of gray, like look at all the possibilities. You are a creator, you're resourceful, you're curious. You can be a bit of a boundary pusher in some respects. There's a playful and fun outside about you, but inside, it's likely that you're fighting a few demons. Now, we all do. That is not the part that sets you apart. What sets you apart is what you choose to do with it. Your personality comes out in your color. Other hair colors may invite people to notice them, but yours, your choices invite other people to see you. There's a difference. You're not out here trying to prove yourself. You're out here showing yourself, expressing through colors the dimensions you hope others see on the inside. When you walk into a room, you may evoke a sense of wonder and curiosity in others. You may also even evoke some judgment. But here's the thing, you already know that. You didn't choose pink, blue, green, purple, or some combination that nobody even has a name for, thinking that you were actually going to blend in. You know people are going to look. Some will love it. Some won't understand it. Some may have already decided something about you before you even open your mouth. But somewhere along the way, you figured out that being understood by everyone is nowhere near as important as being recognizable to yourself. And maybe that invitation for judgment is low-key your own little inside rebel saying, go ahead. I already beat you to it. I've already decided who I am. I am exactly the person I'm supposed to be on my own personal mission of growth and purpose in the most open and expansive way possible. And that's it. That's all we have. I covered almost every hair color, I think. And like I said, it was purely meant for entertainment. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you saw a little something of yourself in there. I know I did, but it could be too that it doesn't resonate with you at all. And that's okay. We were just here to have the conversation. And I just wanted to share with you my view and what I take away from some of the hair colors sometimes. Everyone is an individual. I totally understand that. It is not scientific. Again, just my own opinion, but it was so much fun to write that. It was so much fun to share it with you. Thank you for listening and being here with me today. We are headed off to the fair on a super hot day, but if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. And also, I want to ask you a personal favor. If you would go on to Apple and Spotify, leave me a rating or review. That really helps the podcast get out there and get noticed by others so that we can grow. I enjoy so much spending this time with you as often as I can be here. I hope to be more consistent as we go forward. It's a work in progress, but I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, your emails, your messages, and even when you come and you sit in my chair and you say, I listened to this week's episode and I loved it. That does so much for me, and that is why I do it. So thank you again. Go ahead, share this with someone. Please leave me a rating and review, and I will see you the next time on the Lessons from Your Hairstylist podcast. Take care. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Lessons from Your Hairstylist. I hope you found inspiration and actionable insights to embrace your unique beauty and elevate your life. Remember, it's all about taking small steps towards a happier, healthier you. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might benefit from it. Together, let's continue unlocking the secrets to living beautifully fulfilled. Until our next appointment, keep your thoughts on your visions, your self-talk kind, and remember to keep your heart open so you don't miss any opportunities waiting for you out there. I'll see you on the next one.